It's over. It's done. Maybe we have until 2025 till we're like super in it. But the reality is it's already over. It's over. It's over. I don't know how to say it any other way than that. What do you want to do? When is the time to get prepared? Before you need to. What they know is if they want to hold their power and their freedom, they have to hold gold, because whoever holds it retains their choices, retains their power. They want to stay in power. And they know that, and this happens again, 100% of the time. There are over 4,800 fiat money currencies, so government-based currencies that no longer exist. But gold, they always then bring gold as a component of the new money in them. And they will this time because they're going to need to get the public confidence back again. And that is a big part of the problem. This is a con game. It requires confidence. When all confidence is lost, they got to bring back the gold. First of all, what's interesting is they made this announcement to great fanfare, how everyone would have an account at the Federal Reserve through FedNow, and they did that in 2019. Why in the world would they announce that in 2019 and not bring it out until 2023? I mean, I think that's really interesting. But the fact that everybody's got an account, even if you're in a very rural area and you have your bank account at the post office, you have a FedNow account. Now think back to 2020 when they were sending everybody these stimulus checks, and they talked about how much easier would it be to push a button and just have all the stimulus money go into these individual accounts. So much more convenient, so much faster. So there's not one doubt in my mind, but that the FedNow is a step in the infrastructure for the US digital dollar, and they will probably keep the name the same because that's what they do. They try and keep things as much like what we're used to as possible so that we don't notice the transition until it's way too late. And when they're trying to make a transition, one of the things, this is another thing that they always do, and we saw it when they wanted to get people used to the digital currencies. I mean, personally, I do not think it was a coincidence that Bitcoin was launched in January of 2009 and that quantitative easing was launched in March of 2009. And typically what they do to get eyes on it is they allow the public to make lots of money. And a lot of people made a lot of money with these cryptocurrencies, right? And recently, well, maybe about a year ago, the Fed, the IMF, International Monetary Fund, came out with a report that basically said private crypto's bad, government crypto's good. So, but they had to get adoption. And so by the time that they wrote that report, at that time, about 16% of the population had in some form or another dealt with, owned, bought, sold, whatever, some cryptocurrencies. 16% is enough adoption for people to be comfortable enough. And when you read the writings of the International Monetary Fund, the Bank for International Settlements, you read these things, they tell you how exactly they are going to make this shift. And they are going to keep it as close to what we're used to as possible. And they've been moving us in this direction really since the 20s. It was in the 20s when individuals could actually get credit, right? So that definitely helped build to that 1929 stock market crash. And then again in the 50s, that's when they first brought out credit cards so that you didn't have to have any collateral for it. So, they do this slowly so that they get what they want. That's that 2% inflation. I mean, honestly, that's such garbage, I can't even stand it. The 2% is the level where you don't change your behavior. You don't ask for a raise, which is what they define as price stability. You know how they're always saying, our aim is price stability. Well, that's not the price of goods and service. If you hear that, you assume they want the price of this glass to remain the same, stable. No, what they want is they want your wages to remain stable so that inflation can erode them and you don't even know it. I've been stacking, I've always had a certain amount, but I've been stacking seriously since 2002. But I've got my bug out location, so I've also executed the rest of that mantra. But it was the gold and the silver that I did first, because that can protect everything else and enable you in any circumstances to more likely be able to buy whatever it is that you need. But when 2008 hit, 100 bazillion%, I knew that the system that we knew died. I absolutely knew it. I was living in a little 2-bedroom condo getting ready to retire, and I just wanted something simple. I could turn the key and off I could travel, do whatever I wanted. And then 2008 happened, and I thought, holy crap. And I knew that the single biggest issue for most people during these transitions and these periods of time was food. So I was not a gardener. I might help my sister every now and again, but that was really not my thing, except that I wanted to make sure that I could feed my family, my children, my siblings, etc. So I bought this property, and I bought it in dead central Phoenix. I am in dead central Phoenix, because I knew that my children wouldn't go anywhere. And so I thought, well, this is where I'll make my last stand. There is no turning this around. The debt bubble has already been popped. When you know you're going to go bankrupt and you get more credit cards, and that's what's happened since 2008 with all the quantitative easing and all of that. And they talk about quantitative tightening. Well, the banks are now tightening their standards. Because this money system is based on constantly compounding and growing debt. It's not based on paying the debt off. So the fact that the debt bubble has already been popped, that it has already been popped, yeah, we're at the end. We are 100%. There is not one doubt in my mind. I can't tell you it's going to be Tuesday morning at 8:35, but it could. It's over. It's done. Maybe we have until 2025 till we're like super in it. But the reality is it's already over. It's over. It's over. I don't know how to say it any other way than that. What do you want to do? When is the time to get prepared? Before you need to. I was walking around on my property in 2020 going, oh, isn't this great? Because it didn't hurt me that I couldn't get groceries at the grocery store. I have chickens, so I have eggs. I have plants, I have fruit, I have vegetables, I have nuts, right? I have sugar cane. I was fine, except then there were riots near me at the Capitol and near my children up at Fashion Square. And I thought, aha, hole in my strategy. So that's when I went to a very, very remote location, and it took a while, but I found a bug out house. And up there, it's completely off grid. We've just put in orchards. So, the time to get prepared is now, and I'm not saying nothing's going to happen between now and 2025. I'm thinking that's when we'll be in the worst of it, and that's when the opportunities present. So few people talk about it. But the reality is again, this is used in every single sector of the global economy. When you are going into a fight, do you want something that you want a little baby Swiss Army knife, little itty bitty Swiss Army knife to go into battle with? Or do you want a flippin' bazooka? So you get your ammo in first to make sure that, if it crashed right now, you're stacking, you haven't been accumulating food, but I guarantee you cannot live without food, you cannot live without water. You're gonna have limitations, and you're gonna have to be able to barter. Well, people recognize gold and silver because it's in our DNA. Look at our language. Look at the cryptocurrencies. How do they always depict those coins? Gold or silver? Either one of those. Why? Because it's in our DNA to understand that people know that this is money. It's been money for 6,000 years. That's why the central banks are buying it, because they know it too. They know this isn't real money. They know this is garbage and that they're destroying it. This is real money. So I built that foundation first, but remember too, I didn't realize until 2008 that the system died. I did not think that I would see this in my lifetime. Boy, was I wrong.